So, White Noise was written and directed by Noah Baumbach and stars Adam Driver, Greta Gerwig, Don Cheadle, and it takes place during the 1980s and when an air contamination it takes place in this small town. Adam Driver and his family try to survive it, and at the same time, they try to cope with the effects and like what their lives mean. So this was a movie I've been hearing a lot about. Noah Baumbach is a director. I haven't really gotten into a lot of his movies, unfortunately. However, I really did like his last movie, Marriage Story, quite a bit. So when I heard he was re-teaming with Adam Driver, I was immediately on board. And afterwards, I kind of heard a lot of mixed things about this movie, that it was pretty weird, it was pretty different, and it just wasn't up to par with something like Marriage Story. So I saw this movie, and I thought it was interesting. It's definitely something that is kind of an acquired taste. I think this is a movie that's definitely not going to be for everyone. But if you're into like quirky, absurdist, just movies that are just odd and different, and I guess the best comparison is someone like Wes Anderson, then I would definitely check out White Noise. So, what worked in this movie? Mainly the acting from Adam Driver. Adam Driver is a fantastic actor. I think he did a really good job in this movie. He conveys every emotion perfectly. He does a lot of these dialogue heavy scenes, and they're really well done. Don Cheadle also thought he did a really good job as well. The dialogue in this movie is so strange. And it's something that I caught on at first, where it just seems like this is not how anybody talks. I just watched this movie and I'm like, yeah, no person on the face of the earth would talk like this. And nearly everyone in the movie talks this way. And it's so strange, but weirdly enough, I eventually kind of grew to it. I got used to the weird dialogue. It was definitely a lot, like it reminded me a lot of Wes Anderson. The production values of this movie are incredible. The cinematography, the actual set designs, the score is also really well done. And I just like how it's just its own thing and just doesn't really care about what anyone else does. And I also found it really, really funny, like darkly funny. We've been getting a lot of really good dark comedies this year. White Noise, Everything Everywhere All at Once, The Menu, Banshees of Inisherin. We've been getting a lot of really good dark comedies this year, and I'm really glad about that. I love dark comedies, so this is kind of like my heaven. Also, I really dug the editing of this movie too, where like there's a whole scene with the actual accident that causes the whole thing in this movie, and it's just cut with this speech that Adam Driver and Don Cheadle are trying to give. That was really well done. I thought that worked. And some people may not like the fact that it's aimless. I kind of like the fact that it isn't aimless, which it kind of. I'll go back to a movie I reviewed last year, Licorice Pizza, where a lot of people complained about how that movie was aimless. And I kind of thought it was okay that it was aimless because it kind of represented how in life people do feel aimless. So maybe the movie itself was trying to evoke that feeling. And I kind of felt the same way too, because like with a lot of things that they're talking about this movie, how they kind of feel directionless in life, it kind of did feel aimless. So because of how they're talking, maybe the whole idea that this whole thing is aimless may have been a better decision than I realized. So, was there anything that kind of didn't work? Well, if I had to nitpick about this movie, the pacing. The movie is a little over 2 hours, and I kind of felt it at times, where it's like I kind of want this thing to wrap up, and I kind of want it to be over with. But even the end credits, where basically there's stuff going on until the very end, like literally the very end of this movie. And I just kind of wanted to just wrap it up. Let's just go. Let's just wrap this up. I got another movie to see today. Also, Greta Gerwig. Now, I did like her other two movies, but I just thought her performance wasn't as great as Adam Driver's performance or Don Cheadle's. It's clearly obvious that Greta Gerwig was in this movie because she's with Noah Baumbach in real life, and I kind of just didn't buy it as much. Like, I didn't buy Adam Driver and Greta Gerwig as a married couple as much as I bought Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson as a divorcing couple in Marriage Story. If you're looking for the next Marriage Story, this is not it. Also, the kid actors I really didn't care for either. The child actors, because the child actors, they speak the same way the adults speak in this movie. And like the adults, I'm like, I'm getting used to this. The kids, on the other hand, no kid would talk like this. again, I kind of bought into the whole style of this movie. And also, I didn't really love the ending so much personally. I just thought, oh, that's kind of it. Oh, okay. But again, maybe that's because of the whole aimless aspect of this movie. Mainly, maybe I was just thinking afterwards. I guess, I guess it was kind of aimless if you really think about it. So maybe the ending makes a little bit more sense than I realized. I don't know. I'll definitely have to go back and watch this movie. So, White Noise. I really dug it for the most part. Adam Driver was great. Don Cheadle was good. The dialogue is something I got used to. The production values are great. I love how funny it is. It's so well done in a lot of ways, but there are a couple things like some of the supporting cast, maybe the kids and Greta Gerwig and the pacing issues. I kind of just didn't like as much. But I do think it's definitely worth seeing, and like some of the reviews are just hate. Like some of the people who saw this movie are just upset about this movie. And honestly, I kind of don't see it. I kind of understand some of it, but I don't hate it. I do think it's worth watching. So I'll give White Noise 3 out of 4 stars. See it. So, what is the most underrated movie of 2022? Comment down below, subscribe to the channel. This is Pat. Stay safe.